and welcome to Big Centre What's On, the show that does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm Chanel Shay Calvin, and in today's show, my two guests are from entirely different sections of the entertainment, but with equally fascinating crafts. But first, there are so many gigs and performances happening here in the Midlands, and we want to let you know what's on. So below me, you'll see all the gigs and comedy shows that are happening this week. While at the same time, here on my left, are the events, theatres, concerts, theme parks and family days out. In future shows, we're featuring our regular reviewers who will be talking about their particular passion, from the vibrant club scene, rock music, the arts, local theatre to jazz and blues. Here on Big Centre What's On, we want to hear about your events, shows or gigs, and we'll be giving you our contact details later in the show. My first guest has made the tasting of wine fun, informal and accessible, and he's here to explain more. Well, welcome Ian to Big Centre What's On.
Thanks, Chanel.
So just tell us a little bit more about what your company is.
Basically, we teach people all about wine, so it doesn't matter whether you're a complete beginner or whether you're sort of a budding connoisseur. We teach you all you need to know, and that can be anything from an introduction to wine right through to specialist themes. And we do that here in Birmingham at various different venues, and we make it accessible for people. We think wine should be fun.
It should be. So you do cover like a wide range of people can learn about wine.
We do. It doesn't matter whether you know absolutely nothing or, as I say, whether you're a sort of seasoned wine drinker and you want to learn more about a particular subject. We have lots of different events that cover all those avenues.
So what role do you play in the company then?
It's my business,
wow.
and I do most of the tastings myself. I have a team of people who I bring in every now and again, whether they need a particular specialist or certainly people if we are really, really busy and we need other people to come in and cover for us. But everybody that we work with is a specialist within the wine industry, so they know exactly what they're talking about. And we also pick people with a personality as well, so they can engage with their audience. We're not about sticking people in front of screens and giving them PowerPoint presentations.
How did you actually get into this business then?
I was at a loose end about 10 years ago, and I'd always been passionate about wine. It was a hobby of mine, and I decided to go and do some qualifications. And after I'd done that, I thought, well, why not just turn it into a business?
Yeah, why not?
And looked at what everybody else was doing, and a lot of it was quite boring and quite technical. So that's kind of where we started, and it went from there.
I've looked on your feedback, and your feedback has been great on your site, of like words such as informative, educational and such a laugh. People said it's lots of fun, enjoyable, relaxed and friendly. Is that something that you take pride in? That's
absolutely what we pride ourselves in. As I said, wine should be accessible, it should be fun. And I'm a great believer the way to learn about wine is to actually drink it. You know, you're not going to learn about wine from reading a book.
No, that's very true.
And I also think people become quite intimidated by wine because they don't know, they feel intimidated by wine waiters or labels that they see that they don't understand or words that they don't understand. Our job is really to put that all in perspective and allow people to sort of come along, taste different wines that they necessarily wouldn't buy, and expand their horizons a little bit.
I think I agree with that personally. When I see like a wine bottle, I'm not quite sure what's included in it, or as you said, like people do probably associate wines with more like prestige or upper class. I'm thinking I have no idea where to start personally. So I think something like that, it must take off.
Well, it's really interesting you say that because actually most people in this country buy wine on price.
Yeah, true.
We're all driven by promotions. And I think people are reticent to experiment. As you say, you look perhaps at a label and you don't understand what's in it. You don't understand what it's likely to taste like. And supermarkets don't encourage us to do that because they don't have the expertise on site. So whereas, you know, over 90% of wine in this country is sold in supermarkets rather than through specialists, there isn't the expertise in there. So we human beings, we default to what we know, don't we?
Is it champagne tasting you do as well?
We do champagne tastings, which are hugely popular.
And
that's kind of demystifying champagne because everybody thinks champagne. It's not. There's loads of different styles. And yes, we do wine and chocolate and all sorts of different wine tastings as well.
And do you have like events as well?
Yes, we do. We do a lot of events for some corporate clients. So, for example, where a company wants to entertain their clients or team building stuff as well. And wine tasting is a great thing for team building. We do a blind wine tasting quiz. So we get you and your friends or your colleagues and we get them to try and work out which wines are which.
That's going to be really cool. Could you do like team building as well? And you do like the apprentice wine or something. So that sounds quite fun.
Yeah, we've got an event which is we call the Wine Apprentice, which is basically where a team. It's a company thing where a team have to. We teach them how to taste wine properly, and then we give them some wines without a label on, and they've got to write their own tasting notes, put their own marketing plan together, design their own label, and that obviously gets very competitive. And we keep topping them up with wine along the way as well, so it's more and more competitive.
And you also you based like quite a lot of your events at like prestigious restaurants such as like Marco Pierre White.
We do. One of the things we pride ourselves on is using good venues, because for people, they're coming along to learn about wine, they're coming along to have fun, but the venue is equally as important as well. And Marco Pierre White's obviously 25th floor of the Cube, stunning views. We held our one-day wine tasting courses there. We held our champagne tastings there, and people kind of love it because they can enjoy the wine and they can enjoy the view at the same time.
And there's also another day out which I thought was amazing. It's like an ultimate day out in Paris. What's included in that package?
Oh yeah, you heard about that one.
Yeah, I saw that one.
The ultimate day out in Paris is basically where we take people on a food and wine extravaganza. So it starts off with champagne breakfast. We then take them to a cheese and wine tasting in a sort of historic French cellars with a crazy French sommelier. We then do a wine tasting lunch in an iconic Parisian bistro, and the day ends up with a champagne tasting cruise down the River Seine and then back home.
Oh, right.
It's just a bit of a fun day
It
out.
does sound really great that you cater for like everyone, whether it is just learning about it or team building, or I think it's great that you're covering so many different aspects.
I think that's the important thing. We have to cover for everybody because, wine is not as simple as everybody likes what they like, and you can't put people into a box. So, you may start off as a complete beginner, and in 2 years' time, you may be a budding expert. So we cover everything that everybody needs, really, in terms of learning about wine. But as I say, the whole overriding thing is to make it enjoyable and fun for everybody.
But going back to being a beginner, I'm a beginner myself, and thankfully you brought all this with us. So is it okay if you start and so you can talk me through how it...
Well, let's taste some wine then.
Yes.
Go on. So we're going to start off with a white, and I've picked something here which is quite unusual. This is a grape variety called Rezzicali, which is from Georgia. Not Georgia, the United States, the country of Georgia, which actually arguably is the oldest wine producing country in the world, strangely enough.
Oh, wow.
And this grape variety disappeared off the radar under the old communist regime, and now it's really coming back into its own. And I picked this because it's good for a beginner because it's got lots of character to it. So first thing we can do is just quite simply smell it. And what we really want to know is, does it smell like wine?
Yeah, it does smell like wine.
It does smell like wine. One of the things people always ask is, why on earth do you bother smelling wine?
Yeah, why do you?
Reality of life is just to check the quality of it, because if that wine ever smells really damp or musty, and think kind of damp cardboard smell, then it means that a wine is corked. It's off. It's not going to do you any harm, it's just not going to taste very nice. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And then we want to see what you can actually smell in there. Now, I don't think we're going to get too complicated at this stage. Just think fruit, vegetables, herbs, spices. See if you can get one single sort of fruit in there. It's an easy one, this one.
Oh, God, that's pressure there.
I'll tell you what, they come in green and red.
Apples.
Hey.
I was actually thinking that, but I thought, is that too...
I knew you were. And then we're actually going to taste it. And there's lots of things we look at when it comes to tasting wine. There's lots of different component parts. We're not going to go into it all now, but just to put it in perspective for you with the wine tastings, you like what you like when it comes to drinking, so do I, but often we don't know why we like what we like. So part and parcel of this whole tasting process is allowing people to understand why they like what they like. And that's the bit where you can then go out and you can say, now I know the style that I like. So we're going to go. So let's have a taste, see what you think.
Oh.
It's quite fruity, isn't it?
It is really fruity. It's quite sweet, which is quite nice.
It's actually, strangely enough, it's actually dry wine, but it's got a lot of fruit sweetness in there. It's got a lot of fruitiness coming through, which is what you're getting. And I think that's what just makes it really, really...
You can feel it. It's nice
really
and warm
tasty.
as well.
It is nice and warm. That's actually the alcohol content that you're getting there. So, yeah, that gives you a real nice... It's sort of like a hug, isn't it?
It is. We've only literally got like a few minutes, well, like less than a minute. So do you want to move over to your next
should we go on to the red
please?
one?
Yeah.
And have a quick taste of this?
Is it true that white wine should be kept chilled and then red wine shouldn't be, or can you actually?
It depends on the character of the wine. So basically, in a nutshell, the lighter the wine, the more chilled it needs to be. And the heavier the wine, the richer the wine, then the less chilled it needs to be. So you can actually chill red wine.
Oh, okay.
And this is a Spanish example. This is a blend of 3 grape varieties, Tempranillo, which is the Rioja grape, Garnacha, which again is Spanish grape, and Cabernet Sauvignon. And this is just a really light, easy drinking red. And this will be fine chilled as well.
Oh, that's great. I think I'm more of a white wine person myself, but that is really nice.
Good.
Well, I could talk to you all day about this, but unfortunately we're out of time. But thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you.
Thank you. After the break, I'll be talking to one of the organisers of the Midlands Urban Art Scene. Welcome back to Big Centre What's On, the show that does exactly what it says on the tin. In case you've just joined the show, let me introduce you to our new design. Below me, you'll see all the gigs and comedy shows that are happening this week. While at the same time, here on my left, are events, theatres, theme parks and family days out. Earlier on, I mentioned we want to hear about your events, shows or gigs. So here are the details you'll need on screen now. Don't worry if you didn't get all of that. We'll show them again at the end of the programme. As it's still the school holidays, here's some ideas for days out for the whole family. My second guest today is one of the organisers of the City of Colours, Birmingham's Street Art Festival, which will be taking place on September the 12th in Digbeth. So welcome, Jules Pickering. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. So I'm right in saying that you're one of the organisers of this event?
That's right. There's a small team of us who run the City of Colours Festival. There are the 2 founders, Carl and Becky, and then there's myself, who's one of the organisers, and then there's a small team of group of the rest of us that make it happen.
So what is City of Colours?
City of Colours is a community interest company. Our primary focus is running the yearly festival, the City of Colours event, but we also have various other missions across the year. One is to attend other events and showcase live art. We promote and showcase the talent in Birmingham, the talented artists that exist in Birmingham. We engage marginalised groups and young people in the pleasures of art and the artistic community. And then we're also involved in the regeneration of areas of Birmingham, turning them into outdoor art galleries when they may have been sort of derelict areas of Birmingham, and sort of encouraging people to go to different areas of Birmingham.
There's so much happening with this event then.
There is. It's a busy year. It's a busy year. Very exciting.
So just the one event that you've done so far?
That's right. The first festival was in September 2014. It was new ground for all of us. It was the brainchild of Carl and Becky from visiting other festivals around Britain, and they wanted to bring that to Birmingham. And so we were very nervous about our first event, and we were very worried nobody would show up. And then we were absolutely thrilled to have 9,000 members of the public, 100 artists painting, and to take over Digbeth for what's been one of the best days we've all ever had. Yeah.
Was that expected, or were you all quite shocked?
We were all very nervous. The day before, we weren't sure whether anybody was going to show up, but the vibes were good. We put a lot of work into getting the word out there, and there was a lot of enthusiasm. But yes, we never expected that many. We thought maybe we'd get 3,000-4,000 most. So we were absolutely thrilled. We had a perfect storm of the perfect weather on the perfect day with the perfect team, and it just came together beautifully.
So hopefully the rest can follow in that footstep then.
We're really hoping, yes. The weather for an outdoor event, when you're all painting outside, the weather's a very important factor. But yes, fingers crossed it'll be a little bit bigger this year, and hopefully we'll engage. We're hoping for up to 10,000 to 15,000 people this year. Yeah, big free party for Birmingham. Yeah.
So what kind of so it's free, did you say? So
yes. No, free entry.
It's getting even better then. So what kind of artists do you actually have? Is it graffiti artists, or is it a range of different
well,
ones?
this year we've gone through an application process, and we've had 200 artists apply to paint. We'll have about 100 walls and different surfaces. We approach business owners for permission to paint on the walls. And other than that, we construct boards. Last year, someone brought their car and let us paint their car. So we have mural artists, we have graffiti artists, we have yarn bombers. Have you heard of those? Do you know what they are?
No.
They're kind of like guerrilla knitters. So they actually create sort of knitted things. Someone made a sweater for the bull in the bull ring. So installations, sculptors, all sorts of different people. As many possible art forms as we can cover in one day. Yeah.
So it's not just artists that you incorporate in this event, there's also dancers and DJs, I believe, as well.
That's right. We try and make sure that it's a full-on festival. So last year we had 7 music stages, we had beatboxing displays, we had breakdancing displays. We try and incorporate all of the urban art forms. Not everybody is a budding artist, so we want to make sure that we can draw out everybody's interest and showcase all of the talent across Birmingham. So yes, all sorts of different arts on display.
There's quite a lot of talented people in Birmingham, so I'm sure something like this attracts so many people.
There's so many, and it's funny, I've just been to a festival in Berlin, and everybody presumed that I was from London, and and they presume if you're doing anything that it must be happening in London, and there is so much talent in Birmingham to showcase, and it's lovely to be able to give that a platform to exist and to propagate. Yeah.
Because you mentioned one of your statements actually to incorporate people from different backgrounds and stuff. Is it stopping people from maybe antisocial behaviour and stuff, and giving something to focus towards?
Absolutely. When you say graffiti, then people often just think about the illegal graffiti. They think about the criminal damage side of graffiti. But there's a whole other world to street art and mural painting and what we like to call public art. Everybody enjoys a good, you going past on the bus and you see a painting every day that makes you smile. That's public art, and it's done by an artist who can produce something on that level, usually with spray paints or what have you. So it's about sort of redefining what everybody's definition of public art is. Yeah. So all sorts.
So what's next for the festival then?
Well, we're very excited about planning the event for September the 12th, but we've got a lot of work to do before we get there. At the moment, we're selecting artists to paint based on the applications. We're also working with a lot of other Birmingham organisations to make sure that live art features at all sorts of events across the city. We'll be working on promo events. We have a particularly exciting event on this Saturday, the 11th of April. We're working with Visit Birmingham and Instagram and the Icon Gallery to put on what they call an Insta-meet. So it's free for anybody who's interested. Just register at Visit Birmingham. Come down to Digbeth at 11 a.m. in the morning, and you'll go on a guided tour that'll teach you all about street art and all the different forms. All the pictures will be captured on Instagram and shared. So that's a fantastic initiative, and we're just trying to sort of do more and more little events like that throughout the year in the build-up to our big day in September.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And also you've got a regular slot on What's On, so I'm sure there'll be loads more for us to talk about. So I'm going to say just thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
So don't forget, if you want us to include any of your gigs, shows or events or anything, then contact us at the addresses on the screen right now. So thank again, Jules, and we look forward to seeing your projects.
Thank you very much.
Now to play us out, a new track from Brad Henshaw's rock symphonic album.
Thinking back, thinking of you. Summertime, think it was June. Yeah, I think it was June. Laying back, head in the grass, chewing gum, having some laughs. Yeah, having some laughs. You made me feel like the one. Made me feel like the one. Drinking back, drinking for two. Drinking with you when drinking was new. Sleeping in the back of my car. Didn't need to go far. Didn't need to go far. You made me feel like the one. Made me feel like the one. The one.